Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pep Talk series on the Joe Maxwell Show. I am your host, Joe Maxwell. On today's topic, I will be discussing with my guest the importance of professional integrity. Is it really that important? I've come into contact with thousands of questions, concerns, mistakes, and crossroads that emerge in people's personal and professional lives. Observing the long arc of many careers, I've noticed that the worst missteps, the ones that makes us feel deep pain, regret, sorrow, and remorse, are mistakes reflecting what people have chosen to compromise on or to give up in order to be successful. These compromises don't feel like choices at the time, but they are, and they lead to common crises and challenges that are disastrous for an individual. Today, I'm joined by Animashaun and Kupoluyi, and we're going to be talking about professional integrity. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for
I am loving the blue in that corner, and I'm loving the eyelashes, and I just love how you were just very heavenly and divine in your outfit. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. And just to say, today's topic is actually inspired by Sarah, and she's all about for integrity. So, Sarah, I'm putting you out there. So that means at no point. At no point, no pressure.
Okay, no pressure.
You have to leave that life now because you're on TV, on camera. Absolutely.
Benchmark. Yeah.
Benchmark, that's it. So quickly before we go into today's topic, I'm just going to give you ladies an opportunity to just talk about what you do, who you are, what you do, so our viewers get to know a little bit more about you. So I'll pass on to you, Anna.
Okay, so hi viewers, my name is Hannah Kupoluyi, and I'm the founder of All Women's Network. Is an organization that supports, empowers, and equips women to get back into employment as well as start and create their own business. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And over to you, Sarah.
Sorry, that was awesome, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So I'm Sarah, Animashaun, Saratu, for some who know me as Saratu, but I go by Sarah. I work as a business change, organization and change manager within the healthcare sector at the moment. But that's the passion of what I do, is about implementing change within these organizations to underpin the clinical strategies that they have and operational strategies as well. So that's what I do.
But you do more than that though, Sarah.
I do more than that. So on the side. So I also support a family-run business called Wakiki. Oh, nice plug in there. So it's wakiki.co.uk. It's an Afro-Caribbean food hub. Actually, I should say that again. It's an African and Caribbean food hub where we're like a aggregator of all these Afro-Caribbean food vendors, and so this is our opportunity to actually bring the African and Caribbean cuisine into the mainstream, and that's the vision that we have in the UK.
Did you come with my food? Did you come with my lunch? Did you pack it?
So
yes,
okay. So that I have to maintain integrity. I didn't come with your food, but I can organise that for you. So
that'd
be great.
I will hold integrity, right? Yeah. So I am waiting for my Wakiki food.
Actually, what is it that you guys like? What African or Caribbean dishes do you guys like?
I love pounded yam. Oh, wow. I love it. And also jollof rice with plantain.
Okay.
And salad.
That's African.
I do like oxtail, actually.
Oxtail.
Yeah, but with white rice. I don't like, I'm not a rice and peas. No, I'm not a rice and peas.
Okay.
I'm more of a white rice, just a normal stew.
We'll have a conversation. So
absolutely. Right then, ladies, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I think it's just fair, because it's something that's been inspired by, it's a topic inspired by, I'm just going to go straight into you, Sarah. No pressure.
Yeah.
Professional integrity is something that is so key to you and for you. What is professional integrity and why is it so important for you?
So from my perspective, professional integrity is the honesty. So it's being honest and doing what you say you will do when you say you will do it and how you said you would do it. So it throws in all the morals, the ethics, your actual ability to actually say that you could, to do what you have said that you can do. So all of that is wrapped up into what I consider professional integrity. One of the key things that I have to add in there is how you treat people in the workplace. Yeah, that is so important. Now, some people might not consider it integrity, but it also speaks for your integrity, the way you treat others. And I'm sure when we have our conversations, it will come out in that.
I like how you've kind of brought that into this conversation in the space of Balance for Better International Women's Day.
Yeah.
I think that's a profound thing. It's a good thing to actually bring that in, and we will go into that in a little while. Anna, you obviously run a women's network, and I'm sure you've come across lots of women who are, great at it or probably struggling with it. What would you say is in particular that women, especially I'd say Black women, struggle with when it comes to integrity?
So for me, it's really about women struggling to kind of share opportunities that are out there for others. And so my experience, it's when somebody didn't want to share something particular that they feel like it was actually good for me to go for. And I later sort of found out that they had put themselves forward and they didn't really share it. And I met them there. And so, it's really about supporting each other. And sometimes you find that a lot of women do not do that. They do not support. They do not share your events. They do not even show up to your events. They don't really encourage you and support you. These are just some women. And that's what I found working with some women. However, there are some who are very great at championing others. There are some who are very good at supporting others as well. And just being present for others as well, and just being honest through the journey.
I like how you've kind of gone into women empowering women. That's a whole different shift in itself. But of course, it's all part of integrity, because we say, a lot of times I feel like we throw words around that we don't fully, not that we don't even understand what it means. So I think part of integrity is understanding what honesty means. What does it even mean?
Exactly.
Because I think we say a lot of things without fully understanding deep understanding of what it is. So people say, women empowerment, we support each other. But actually, do you really know? Are you ready to support? And women say this, and I think it's a good thing that we're talking about this, because you've got to be honest with yourself. If you're not all about women empowerment, then don't talk about it.
It's true.
If you're not all up for integrity, then don't let's talk about it. I'm going to go into you, Saratu, because obviously, you're still very much in the career industry. And it's interesting, I was reading the other day about people doctoring their CV and, doing stuff like that, just to be, to be able to get to where they want to get to. And again, half the time we talk about integrity, we don't know where, there's a thin line between kind of being, fully kind of full-fledged and, I'm an honest person, to actually, I need to get to that place in my career and I'm just going to tweak things a little bit. Have you kind of experienced that in work environment? Is it something that's common with women?
I won't go into whether it's common with women or not, but it's something, and it begs to the ethics of when you are actually coming out to, when you go and apply for a role. I study computing, so I understand all the principles of computing. And so if I see a job that I think, they're looking for a change manager who has done X, Y, and Z with the kind of skills and the background that I have, I would go in now, and review that and honestly ask myself that, do I think that I have the skills that they're looking for? Do I think, yes, I have the skill, but I am not quite as mature or, as experienced as they're asking for? Do I put myself forward for that role? Because again, we say that nothing should stop us, and we teach our children these things that you should go for it. Do you go for something that means so much to an organization without having the skill to deliver that thing? So those are the kind of things I look at in CV. So, but really, it's up to the organization to
decide.
To tease that out from you, to understand whether you have the experience or the skill that you say that you have, and test it.
So going back to the overselling, right? So it's all about, right, before we actually get to the point of actually letting the organization make the call, it's about, and as an individual, is overselling yourself, knowing fully well that you may not necessarily have the qualifications or the experience. Is that crossing the boundaries of integrity?
Personally, I think it is. That's my personal view. Some others might have a different opinion, but I think it is.
I totally agree.
Because once you start on that road, you have to sustain that road. And when you then go into an organization and some question comes up about, okay, hang on, you said you could do this, you sold it to us, you oversold yourself, which they didn't think, and now the reality is you're not able to, and that just destroys the image of what you portrayed. And actually, as a Black woman coming into the marketplace, does that then mean, and this is a world where prejudice exists,
Yes,
right? Not intentional. Do you then create a bias now when someone else sits in front of the interviewer and then they start overselling themselves and you sit there and they think, I've seen your type before.
Exactly, yes.
Can you actually do what you say you can do? Because so you're ruining it for those coming behind
you.
And it comes back to your women empowering women.
Yeah.
Do I want to do something that's going to impact negatively?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
And do you know what? I like how you've kind of tied that again into it, because I'm all up for everything I say and do. I'm doing it for millions of other women, especially when I'm doing it in front of somebody who doesn't know me and would have to make a decision off the back of what they're getting from me. So I am speaking on behalf of millions of other women, especially the Black women, because there is a whole lot of misconception out there, stereotypical words thrown out there. And so I want to make sure that I am one of those people that will change those thinking. You see what I mean? So
it does make sense.
Just quickly, Hannah, just before we go on break. With regards to obviously what you do at the moment, do you provide sort of, is integrity part of your ethos of, as women, we come together, we, empower and all of that. Is that something that you've embedded into the Women's Network? Because we have to, right?
Absolutely, because it's all about honesty. It's all about being reliable, being present, being a leader, saying what you're going to do and you're actually doing it. And so you have to think about the leaders that you are, the people that you're actually leading, who are following you. You have to set an example. And it's so important that you continue to put that and embed that into the whole ethos. So it's so important, and I do definitely put that on top of our list, integrity, because for me, I'm very honest, and I know that if I should do things that are not really appropriate, of course, I'm going to have someone calling down my phone and telling me, Hannah, what you did, girl, that's not really good. So it's important that we take responsibility for our actions and also ensure that we're leading the right way.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's really, really, it's a good thing, because I feel like it actually doesn't cost us much.
No,
I think it costs us more when it's like when you tell the truth.
Yes.
It's easier because it's the truth. It comes natural to you. You don't have to rehearse it. You don't have to think about it. If someone wakes you up, you say exactly the same thing. But when you start shifting from the truth, then you've got to remember, what did I say to her yesterday? Or I think I said it was blue that I was wearing the other day, but actually it was red. Or I've got to remember now that, every time someone asks me, what did you wear the other day? I've got to say it's blue. But actually in your unconscious mind, it's got red in there because that's the truth. So I think it's even harder for us as human beings to actually sustain the lack of integrity. Absolutely. So we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to go into the specific areas of where people tend to show the lack of integrity.
Right.
We're going to take a break now and we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Still on the same topic, professional integrity. Is it really that important? Still on set with me, Sarah and Hannah. So, right, ladies, I've got one question for you before we go into more personal questions. What are the areas that you believe as a woman, especially as a Black woman, we shouldn't compromise on? Whether or not it's in the space of a career or it's in the marketplace as a business owner, in whatever capacity. I'll start with you, Anna.
Yeah, so for me, it's about your health and your well-being. And I think sometimes we need to understand that we matter and put ourselves first. And so it's important not to compromise that, because sometimes we give in so much and we are just having less of those things. And so it's important to put ourselves first, ensure that you are well enough and that your health and well-being is well looked after, and that you're not compromising to the point that you are suffering in the process, but you're supposed to rise in the process. So for me, it's about health and well-being.
And I think that's an area a lot of us don't.
A lot of women,
pay attention.
we don't pay attention to those.
We're just going. We keep going.
Exactly. Until breakdown.
We are assumed and expected to keep going.
Exactly.
Run on empty petrol. Keep going. Even when the car is broken down, keep going and keep going. And I think that's to be honest, I haven't actually thought about it the way you've actually brought it out now. So thanks.
It's important to say no. Learn to say no. Because you matter. And sometimes we forget about ourselves and we put other people forward first before us.
It's interesting though, because when, as you're saying, learn to say no, I'm kind of in my head, I'm thinking there's some areas where, again, we're talking about integrity because you've kind of given your word, and even though you know that you're not feeling it's like, I want to make
about
sure.
being honest with yourself.
Exactly. So we talked about integrity being honesty. Yes. You have to be able to say, can I really go on? Actually, in certain professions that you're working on empty, it's a low petrol tank. You're now really just working on fumes. Some healthcare situations, it's a matter of life or death. Where you have to say, you know what, I cannot do this because it's dependent on somebody else's well-being as well. So it's always good to be introspective and say, can I continue to do this? Now, for what I do, I don't know whether we can go into the personal. There's an area where I took on a role when I knew that actually I really shouldn't take this role on because one, it's going to take me away from the family, and the kids were younger, not toddlers, but they were younger, and I knew then that actually this is going to be full on. It's going to require me to put in my all. Do I compromise the time with the children? And I know it's an argument that a lot of women make in the career women do that. They ask that question to themselves, but I knew that I shouldn't have. And I took the decision to go into this role, which turned out to be the most toxic role that I have ever been in. And when I start something and I commit to it, I always absolutely. So running on empty, having to deal with behaviors that I would never in a million years after then ever put myself into, having to deal with those sort of behaviors, an organizational culture that was just rife with finger pointing, and I thought I compromised
all this for that.
And so again, for me, it's a choice. Integrity is a choice. Your compromise is your choice. So now I know how to ask myself the honest question. And give myself an honest answer.
I love
which
that.
is really important, going forward.
And I think just the same way you said, you have to ask yourself a question and you've got to answer. I think a lot of us don't do that. We don't do that self-assessment, right?
No.
So I'm quick to jump to self-assess you, to assess you, what you're not doing, well, you shouldn't take that job, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't travel that far. But actually, we're not taking a step back to say, you know what? What is good for me? What is right for me? What should I be doing? What should I not be doing? And I think again, it's a place, it's a journey, right?
Yes.
But hopefully with us as women talking about this on a regular basis, hopefully helps other women out there that are struggling with it. Because I can imagine how integrity can be a struggle for many. I still struggle. I have my struggles with just trying to make sure that I don't fail. If I've said, and a lot of people will say, if Joe said to you, she'll do it, I think you can take it to the bank. But sometimes it's a struggle to actually leave that,
absolutely.
And the time where I have been in that situation where I am not feeling well, and I'm thinking, but I have given my words that I will be coming, or I will be doing it. So what do I do? Oh, well, I'm just going to pack my bag and just go anyway, because I'd already, but I think we have to do a lot of self-re-evaluation, evaluation and re-evaluation, and assessing ourselves on a regular basis. So Sarah, whilst saying this, and whilst, we know it's tough to kind of hold and hound it on being into. Give us a different example. I know you've kind of given us, but where I'm talking about these sort of examples where it's sort of more of a self-respect. It has to do with like, you know, the other areas, the virtue, you know, the woman that you are in Christ as an African woman, and you've kind of like slip up a little bit, and you know, you've looked back thinking, I should have done that.
But so we touched earlier on before the break about CVs, and I talked about that. Obviously, I was quite passionate about that because I have been in a situation, not going to say what job, where I did look at this role and I did say, yes, I have got that. Thinking, I'm a quick learner. I'm just going to go quickly upskill myself to this. Honestly, I asked myself a lot of questions. People who know me know I'm a questionnaire. I asked myself, but I knew that I shouldn't have. The whole time I was in that job, I can say I didn't give my 100% because everything that was always on my mind in any meeting is they're going to pull me up on the fact that I lied. And I'm not doing the job because there's the thing in my ear telling me that. And it was the most unpleasant experience. But yes, I did say I had a skill that I didn't have. You know, that was over 20 years ago, by the way.
In retrospect.
Yes. And since then, I promised myself, because it was a nasty experience. For me. I mean, I worked as hard as I could in the role. I don't know whether they even noticed that I didn't have that skill because, like I said, I went and upskilled myself. But it was always on my mind. Every morning I walk into that office, I'm like, I lied, they're still going to catch me. I lied, they're still going to, you know. And so I didn't have a pleasant experience in that job. You know, it could have been better. I eventually left, you know, because I couldn't deal with it. You know, my conscience, and like you say, the Christian woman that I was growing into at the time, I knew that was always something that would be on me. I'm not doing this any longer. So I've made a conscious effort to never lie on my CV. If I go into a role now, I'm actually too honest. Whether I'm like, look, before you even start, I don't have this. You have it on the job description. I can't do it. Is that okay?
But I think that comes with maturity. And I know that because I'm very, you know, and I say to people, if you can't do it, just tell them you can't do it. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. But I think some people hear me and they'll be like, no, I want to get that job.
But that's the thing. It's not just about the maturity. It's about the desperate, I need to pay my bills.
Exactly.
This is the only thing that's on offer.
Yes, and I want it.
Yeah, and it's about, so that's that, you know, that compromise on your values and your, you know, and I'm like, but I need to pay my bills. Nobody's paying this for me. So... what do you do? It's easy for us to say, don't take that job. You cannot lie on your CV. But are you going to pay my bills?
I know, right? So we know it's a
challenge sometimes.
It can be. It's a struggle to actually find a good balance, right? So let's quickly go into the areas. Let's be very specific. So I've got here. So let's talk about the areas of integrity. So we've got things like lowering your standards of integrity, and I think we've kind of gone into that a little bit. You know, we're meant to be honest people, but actually. The situation right now is like, and we shouldn't really. I think, honestly, it's one of those ones where they say you want to be like Jesus, you have to, you know. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's tough. I mean, even as a mom, I'm sure there's been times you guys have lowered your standards. You want to give us an example where we have?
Let me try and think of one, actually.
Healthy eating. So you know you want, as a mother, you're like, you know, that's it. No, everyone's going to eat healthy. And then sometimes just like, you know what? Mommy's tired. I've had a long day. Let's just buy KFC.
I know.
The thing that I say I'm not going to do, but you do. And you're teaching them to maintain this, you know, high quality of living, a standard of living. And, you know, we don't eat those things because it's not good for our health. But sometimes... it's like, wow, it's just got to do that. It's a tough, you know?
For me, it's about procrastination. Sometimes I do procrastinate. I'm going to go and get my hair done or go to the hairdressers or get it steamed, and I'll tell my daughter, I'll just say, Mum, you've actually haven't been to do it yet, have you? You keep on saying you're going to do it, but you haven't actually done it. So it's about just holding up to it and just doing stuff. and showing them
and
as well.
showing them
Yeah.
because we lead, they learn
rather
by
than saying
examples,
it.
don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
exactly.
So let's quickly go into the final one that I think it's so crucial. We can't talk about integrity and not talk about legacy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can't, because at the end of the day, why
Absolutely.
are you
we doing
living?
what we're doing?
Why are
Yeah.
we doing what we're doing? What are when legacy comes to mind?
Yes.
Or should I say, when integrity comes to mind? How do you? What's the importance of the legacy part of it? Let me pass on to you, Sarah.
And for me, it's two-pronged. So definitely personally, with the family. We just talked about children, and we're leading by example. So we have to be doing what we say, because it's all well and good, Mommy, you're telling me to do this or do that, do this. I don't see you doing it.
Yes, that's true.
My son called me up one day you keep telling me to make my bed when I get up in the morning.
I get that.
You know what, Mum? You left early and I noticed that your bed wasn't made. Since then, I've put myself on you not leaving this house before you die. So it's a legacy, so that when someone speaks to your children about their mom, they can say, you know what, actually, no. Mommy's so many things, but she will never lie to me.
Exactly.
Mommy's so many things, she will never compromise her virtue. Mommy's so many things that I can speak for Mommy on that. So it's a good legacy, and that is something that transcends.
Exactly.
So they will then teach their children their values that we want to go across, not just our generation, but generations to come. So it's really important. Then the second thing is at work. When I leave my workplace, so I currently do not short programs, but programs of work in different organizations. When I leave, I really would love for them not to say that, wow, that program manager, that project manager has left. Thank goodness she's gone. She said this, didn't do that. She said this, didn't do that. So let it be that, you know what,
when you're
a
not
force to be
there,
reckoned with has left this organization. That's what I want. Maybe me bigging myself up, but that is what I want, And so others who have worked with me, have reported into me, can learn that. So we're taking that into every organization that we go to,
Yes, definitely.
That's absolutely phenomenal.
That's
You'd like to add anything to that?
Yeah, so mine is just about being a good role model and just to be remembered for all the greatness and all the great impacts that I've made, and just to be remembered for someone who said they're going to do something and they've actually gone ahead and they've actually done it. So that's what I would like to kind of leave my legacy.
And following on that, if I can't do something, I hold my hand up and say that.
Yes, actually,
because,
I can't do it.
like you were saying, sometimes you're not feeling too well, but because I promised that I was going to do this, I will do a subpar job because I haven't done it in my fullness.
Yes.
So let them know that I said I couldn't do this. It's about the honesty. I can't do this. I promised I could.
But now I can. Things have changed.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was great. Goodness gracious. Some intelligent women on the couch is a lot of work. Okay, because I'm trying to keep up with you ladies. It's been awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you for having us.
Hopefully our viewers have been able to learn so many things and they've watched and thinking, goodness gracious, if they can do it, I can do it. We're not promising that it's a walk in the park.
Nope.
We're not saying it's going to be easy, but at least we can try. And that's all we can do.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
And that's it for us on today's episode. If you'd like to contribute to today's episode or you'd like to join the conversation, join us with the hashtag Joe Maxwell Show, Professional Integrity. For more information, email us at info@joemaxwellshow.com. Until next week, thanks for watching. I am your host, Joe Maxwell.